Thank you all for this extraordinary honor and for the trust that you have placed in me as we set on a path to soar together. I am truly humbled by the great people and the rich history that precede me, and I am in admiration of each of you, our Fairleigh Dickinson University family, who join me in serving this institution. I am committed with everything in my power to ensure a stronger and more sustainable path for Fairleigh Dickinson University. First and foremost, thank you to our Board of Trustees for your confidence and your guidance. Thank you to our incredible faculty and our devoted staff for your collaboration and support, exemplified by the pillars and by the recognized faculty, but by hundreds of others behind them who do this day after day with extraordinary success for our students. Thank you to our extraordinary alumni whose success most vividly reflects the FDU story and the quality of what this institution offers. Thank you to our friends and supporters who believe in our mission, and to those joining us today from across higher education institutions throughout our state and our region. And most of all, thank you to our incredible students whose light, whose hope, and whose vast potential give us a poignant reminder of why we all do what we do. I am actually very proud to reflect on over half of my life indelibly linked to Fairleigh Dickinson University, celebrating this month 20 years as a member of the faculty and in service as an administrator, and 4 transformational years here as an undergraduate student. These years coincide with so much learning and personal transformation from all those whom I have been blessed to have as a part of my journey. Interestingly, I arrived my first time on campus not knowing a thing about FDU with my sister, who I'm honored to have here today, along with my brother-in-law and other members of our family and friends. And she taught me so many things, not the least of which was to look for certain things in embarking upon my educational journey. She guided me in the decision towards selecting FDU for my 4 life-changing undergraduate years. I returned only a few years later, in 2003, to the university, often sharing with many that this was the only job I've actually ever interviewed for. Do with that what you will, I suppose. I made only one demand when I accepted my offer, which was to have someone cover my classes for 2 weeks while I got married and a couple of weeks thereafter to my wife, Jill, who's here today. We celebrate, in a couple of short weeks, 20 years of marriage, and I have been blessed to learn so much about myself through her. She has taught me sacrifice, giving up her career and many of her dreams to raise our family, to homeschool our children, and be the anchor of our home. Every opportunity I have had, every dream I've been able to pursue, has been because of the knowledge and assurance that she was the rock of stability that would keep things going while I took on a new challenge. I was going to get her jewelry, but I didn't think she wanted this. So. During my time here, I've had 3 children, all here today in the front row next to my wife, including my oldest, who is embarking on her own FDU journey. Ask me how that is. That's a wild ride in and of itself. But I've watched them grow up on campus, and they have taught me so much about being better as I've watched them take on life's challenges head on. I am blown away by their kindness, the grace in which they navigate the challenges of life, and the beautiful and unique spirits that they bring into the lives of those around them. They are the legacy in which I am most proud, and they continue to make me better each and every day. So many others here today and those from years past have taught me so much during my time here, from my mentors turned colleagues in the Department of Chemistry, to colleague deans and fellow administrators along the way, to the many students who have continued to keep me young in spirit as I see the joy of learning and college through them. It is for you that we find joy each morning, arriving on campus with a hope to fill the lives of others for a better tomorrow. There are many words that can be described to use Fairleigh Dickinson University, including innovative and resilient. But today, I want to emphasize 3 words that I know you've already heard today that are the pillars of a Fairleigh Dickinson University education, that crystallize our special legacy and that identify what we must be as our guideposts amidst the urgent change to move forward. Since it was founded, FDU has provided an education and an experience that above all is personal, global, and transformational. For me, FDU was undoubtedly personal. I grew up in Staten Island, New York, and never dreamed of becoming a college president. Not sure I still do, but here I am. As I considered college, I came in thinking I was actually headed towards medical school. And then somehow, one lost registration postcard later, I ended up registering last and got to choose whatever courses were still open. I vividly recall freshman orientation, going through a course book with Associate Dean Betty Feely, who patiently, knowledgeably, and kindly walked me through all my options and helped me plot my initial steps. That set the tone for me from day one, and at every twist in the road, I received continued personal support and attention from faculty and staff who truly cared about me. The list of open courses that she helped me select from was short. On the list was general chemistry. Truthfully, I hated chemistry as a high school student, and I begrudgingly signed up for it my first semester here. 5 weeks into my freshman year, I was inspired by Frank Lang, professor of chemistry at Florham, interestingly the person whose job I interviewed as he retired several years later. He asked me to participate in a research project with him. I found my passion, and I never looked back. FDU's personal approach has always been a part of our DNA, but the truth is that we can and we must do even better for students who have much different needs and many different challenges than ever before. This is why we have adopted the mantra of students first, to constantly infuse each activity with the mindset that our students are our foremost and our first priority. To succeed and be true to our mission, our focus always has to be on the individual student as the center of all we do and of every decision we make. For me, FDU was also global. This may sound very strange to many, as I went from Staten Island, New York, over the Goethals Bridge to Florham Park, down to Princeton, back to Florham Park. But FDU brought the world to me and expanded my world beyond anything I could ever imagine. My classrooms were mini melting pots as I met people from across the world and across generations, and I became connected to ideas and individuals from across countries and cultures. But most importantly, I began to think of myself as a global citizen with responsibilities and considerations that did not end at borders. I began to think of myself as someone who could extend his reach beyond any limitations and touch people's lives, paying it forward to others who can further make a difference throughout the world. The evidence of that global reach is present today as we are joined both here in New Jersey and on our live stream from our campus communities in Vancouver, British Columbia, and Roxton, England. Since our founding, Dr. Peter Sammartino felt it vital to cultivate a global mindset. This was well ahead of its time, and it remains the core of our identity. The need to prepare world citizens has never been greater. As we saw so vividly during recent years, the greatest challenges facing humanity do not stop at borders. At the same time, career opportunities span countries and cultures, so that graduates must be ready to face the challenges and embrace the opportunities of a global society. For me, finally, FDU was transformational. I came here with a certain perspective, with certain skills, and with certain limitations. At the end of a 4-year student journey, I was completely transformed. Who I was inside was altered forever. I learned a great deal about others, but immensely more about myself, about what I could do, what I could achieve, and what I wanted to contribute to my world. I have been equally fortunate to experience this transformation during my 20 years here as a member of the faculty and in the many different roles I've taken on. I've experienced it watching students arrive on campus unsure of themselves and their path forward, only to be walking across the stage at commencement on a path towards the future a few years later. But I have also been transformed listening to the stories of triumph over adversity that our students tell us about every day, watching the dedication of faculty and staff going the extra mile for our students, and being part of a culture and a community that brings out the best in every one of us. I have said it since I set foot on this campus 28 years ago. There is something uniquely special about Fairleigh Dickinson University, and I believe now, more so than I did then, that our best days are yet to come. Yet, here we are now, in the midst of the most challenging time ever to befall this institution or the industry of higher education. Colleges and universities are operating in a rapidly changing environment. Fewer students are applying to colleges. Demographic realities indicate that that number will drop more dramatically starting in 2025, and there is a declining perception that the value of a college degree is worth it, even as the evidence to the contrary grows stronger. Perhaps most significantly, there are radical changes in the way in which students live and learn, and in the needs they have and the support they require. What college was, what it is, and what it can and will be hold three vastly different answers, and we must look to the future before we fall into a place of irrelevance. Those institutions, including ours, who do not change and who refuse to accept the need to meet students where they are, and who refuse to honestly accept the market forces of reality and changing demand, will not just struggle, they will disappear. Our industry can be among the most resistant to change. We cannot accept that way of thinking. We must embrace change if it benefits our students. In a knowledge economy where information is at our fingertips, it is overdue that we change our mindset from simply being purveyors of knowledge and adapt to something much different. We need to move away from transmitting facts and toward a combination of transferring knowledge, offering skills that are adaptable and transferable, applied and experiential learning, and the necessary support for whole person development. The entire well-being of the individual needs to be cultivated on our campuses. This idea of being the sage on the stage has to be replaced by an immersive, supportive community that provides what students don't always find before they come to our campus. That can mean anything and everything from emotional support to classroom instruction to even a stable place to feel at home and find security. If you believe college students are the same now as they were even a few years ago, sit down and talk to one for a few minutes. The hopes, the struggles, the expectations, the fears are eye-opening, and so we must better address the needs of learners with a new approach. Our campuses must be places that embrace failure on a road to success, that provide a safe home to be oneself and discover one's identity, and to be a place where growing up is encouraged inside a surrounding community that will be there to pick students up when they fall. The greatest skills I've learned about our supporting of our students, I've learned not from being an academic, not from being an administrator, but rather from being a supportive parent to my own children. Students must feel like they belong, like they are connected not just to an institution, but to the people around them, and they must be listened to, encouraged, respected, and treated with empathy. If we embrace our role as navigators, parental figures, coaches, and mentors, we can and will create a supportive environment where students can thrive. FDU has always been special because it has always been a place where students can find their place and their future, regardless of their past circumstances. And that is what I believe is the type of place we all wish to be a part of. Since I started in this role as interim president in January, I have talked with and met as many of you as possible. I've held town halls, invited input from faculty, staff, alumni, students, and external stakeholders, and have reviewed all of the material provided to me through working groups focusing on different areas of our strategic planning process. I thank you all for your ideas, your thought, and most of all for your care and commitment to FDU. The result of this process was a new strategic plan titled FDU Will Soar, which focuses on 6 key strategic goals, including recruiting, retaining, and graduating students, partnering with institutions and entities that can help us and improve our enhance our offerings, encourage more people to give to our student-centered fundraising campaign entitled Students First, and to better position and communicate our special traits and accomplishments. Each of these goals are vital, and each of them need to be constant focal points for our community. We are starting the process by reimagining FDU and by providing even greater personal support, by focusing on immersive learning opportunities that provide a competitive advantage, evaluating all programs and services to see what can be done better. And I am sure that you're tired of hearing me say that we need to meet learners where they are. But what does it truly mean? It means focusing on every facet of the student experience and seeing the world through their eyes. It means supporting them in the academic, the physical, the social, and the emotional development that they come here to attain. It means offering services that work for schedules and circumstances, and it means adapting when necessary to provide the opportunity to overcome any problems that may occur on the path towards graduation and success. It is important that I share with each of you the reality of the task ahead. We must make significant changes to survive and to thrive. While this is a challenging time for higher education, I believe that Fairleigh Dickinson University will succeed for several reasons. First of all, adaptability is a trait strongly rooted in our DNA. We have always evolved to meet the needs of students, and we can and will do so once again. Second, we have a great track record of success serving diverse groups of students on and off our campuses, including pre-college learners, first-time college students, lifelong learners, and underserved populations. Our world needs institutions like FDU that have a proven track record of transforming lives, changing generational narratives, and providing critical real-world training. Most of all, though, I am confident in our future because of our people. This has been and always will be our greatest strength. Through your commitment and collaboration, we will change and lead the way to provide greater opportunities for a greater diversity of learners. I ask you today to join me in leaving a legacy. In the Broadway show Hamilton, in a quote that I have in my office here and another one at Metro, is a quote that resonates with me. What is a legacy? It is planting seeds in a garden that you don't get to see. As educators, we are used to doing this. As for every thank you note that you receive from a student, there are hundreds of others whom you invest in and never know the role you played in shaping their future. My ask today for everyone in this community is to commit yourselves to leaving this legacy and to invest with me in building a future that we don't yet know, that we may not get to see, but that we know is the utmost importance on a path towards a sustainable future. As an institution, we have defined our North Star. The path forward means focusing people and resources on the programs and priorities that best serve students. Tough decisions must be made if we are positioning ourselves for the future. We need to focus our attention and our efforts on things we can further develop with excellence. In a world where resources are scarce, we must carefully consider who we serve and align our offerings so that those we serve have the support and the services they need. It will be challenging for all of us in the short term, but it will set us up for long-term stability and prosperity. I wish I could tell you with certainty the next steps as they play out, but much of our future will not be defined by me alone or by a few people in a small group, rather by a combination of our students, partners, and stakeholders, and the community at large. My commitment to you is that we will continue to be open and transparent in our communications, and we will be focusing on assuring the preservation of our student-centered mission and our core values as an institution. As we look ahead, I want to hearken back to the wisdom of our founder, who said it was never just about spaces or buildings or having unlimited resources. Peter Sammartino described that the key ingredient was an enduring spirit of service to students and to each other. That spirit of service has been on great display this week as our students, faculty, and staff joined hands in days of service to our communities here in New Jersey and in Vancouver. And as Dr. Sammartino also wrote, if there isn't an underlying feeling of idealism, of service and companionship, then everything else is of no avail. Another one of my favorite quotes is about the importance of an absolute and unfailing commitment, and it seems particularly resonant for today. Walt Disney said, when you believe in a thing, believe in it all the way, implicitly and unquestionable. I deeply believe in Fairleigh Dickinson University, in our community, in our purpose, and I know that you all do too. But it takes more belief. It takes sweat and persistence. When asked about the secret to success, Disney also said you achieve success by working, and you keep working until the job is done and done right. I look forward to working alongside each and every one of you, and I promise and pledge with all of my being to do exactly that for this institution, for each member of this community, and for our students. And I know you will join me because I know this community well, and since becoming president, I have only gained a greater appreciation for your talent, your resolve, and your commitment. In the unity of our community lies our strength. And through our devoted student service, FDU can continue to forge an impactful presence in higher education so our graduates will continue to transform their lives and the world around them. As I felt 28 years ago when setting foot on this campus, I still believe today. Our best days lie ahead, and I look forward to embarking upon them with each and every one of you on the path forward. Thank you for your confidence in me. God bless you all, and God bless this wonderful university.